Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. First, a Georgia court gives Fani Willis the legal equivalent of a pink slip. Turns out her biggest case might have been her travel itinerary. Then, Speaker Mike Johnson is under fire for a government spending bill so bloated it might require its own zip code. Stay tuned to see why Elon Musk might be the swamp's worst nightmare. Next, AOC and Trump might agree on one thing: Nancy Pelosi's not your friend. They had a humorous exchange on social media. And finally, Idaho says no thanks to DEI offices in public universities where the only thing they're encouraging now is studying. Let's dive in. District Attorney Fani Willis and her entire office have been disqualified from the election interference case against President Trump.
The Georgia Court of Appeals is saying that it's a significant appearance of impropriety caused by the conduct of a public prosecutor. That is Willis, how she behaved, how she was speaking about the case, about Trump publicly, about how she was having a relationship with the top prosecutor that was concealed in this, a man named Nathan Wade.
Turns out the only thing she was successfully prosecuting was her travel rewards points. So, for those of you who may have forgotten, Nathan Wade, Willis's now ex-lover, was the special prosecutor on the Trump case and was accused of spending around $654,000, which he was paid for working on the case and for giving lavish gifts and taking getaways with Willis, who was his boss at the time. Oh, that sounds like a Hallmark movie, if Hallmark started making true crime shows. Look, Fani needed those vacations. After all, trying to prosecute an innocent man is exhausting work.
But the Court of Appeals is now taking another look and saying, no, the trial judge was wrong. Fani Willis should be disqualified from continuing to lead this case.
The ruling disqualifying Willis said this: while we recognize that an appearance of impropriety is generally not enough to support disqualification, this is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings. The court said disqualification is mandated to restore public confidence. Well, that's one way to try and polish a turd, but I'm not sure even a new DA can make this case smell any better. President Trump predicts that Mike Johnson will easily remain Speaker if he course corrects on the government spending package. It's the political equivalent of your dad saying, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." House Speaker Mike Johnson has recently received flack for the 1,547-page stopgap funding plan that contained a $100 billion disaster relief plan, a congressional pay raise, and billions in other areas. Members of Congress were given less than 2 days to read the 1,500 pages. If this bill were any more bloated, it'd qualify as evidence on my 600-pound life. When President Trump and Elon Musk saw the bill, they encouraged Republicans to kill it. Congressional leadership better watch out. It's not people like Mitch McConnell reading your bills anymore. It's Elon Musk. He read the whole thing during his lunch break and still had time to redesign the Mars rover. So Mike Johnson has a number of Republicans upset with him after this continuing resolution debacle. A few names have been thrown around as possible replacements for Johnson. Senator Rand Paul suggested his colleagues in the House contemplate Elon Musk to serve as Speaker of the House. Paul said this on X: "Nothing would disrupt the swamp more than electing Elon Musk. Think about it. Nothing is impossible, not to mention the joy at seeing the collective establishment, aka Uniparty, lose their ever-loving minds." Poor Mike Johnson thought he could sneak in a 1,500-page bill with no one noticing. Unfortunately, people are pissed and they're armed with highlighters and caffeine. President Trump offered sympathy to Representative AOC after her defeat in the House leadership race. On Truth Social, Trump said this: "Really too bad that AOC lost the battle for the leadership seat in the Democratic Party. She should keep trying. Someday, she will be successful." On X, AOC responded and wrote, "You know it's bad when even Trump is feeling bad for me." And for those of you who don't remember, Nancy Pelosi was working behind the scenes to tank AOC's campaign for the lead Democrat on the Oversight Committee. Pelosi backed Jerry Connolly, who ended up winning. So it sure looks like Pelosi doesn't like AOC. And we know that Pelosi despises Trump. So according to the old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, Trump and AOC should agree on Pelosi. The more I think about it, maybe AOC and Trump should start a support group called Targeted by Nancy Pelosi. I have a feeling President Biden might join. The Idaho Board of Education has decided to ban DEI offices and initiatives in all public universities. After several months of consideration, the board unanimously agreed that Idaho institutions cannot require specific structures or activities related to DEI. The only pronouns allowed in Idaho are now study harder. Specifically, the Idaho universities shall establish and maintain equality of opportunity for all students regardless of personal identity characteristics, ensure that no central offices, policies, procedures, or initiatives are dedicated to DEI ideology, and ensure that no employee or student is required to declare gender identity or preferred pronouns. College applications in Idaho will now have controversial questions like, what are your academic achievements? Instead of, how oppressed are you on a scale from 1 to 10? So if you want your kid to actually learn something, Idaho's a good option. If you prefer them to graduate with a degree in victimhood, then by all means, send them to Stanford. Thanks for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.